Good evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. Thanks for joining us. We already know that local businesses are feeling the pressure from U.S. tariffs, but now some manufacturers are looking at expanding their product lines to stay afloat. Emma Loop tells us how in our top story.
Windsor's tool and die shops are feeling the pain from U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war with Canada. Some local companies are now eyeing the defense industry as work in the auto sector dries up. Windsor, Essex is home to many tool and die makers who've traditionally done business with car makers. But months into U.S. tariffs on Canada's auto sector, they're struggling.
There is still some activity in this space and people are still working, but the volume has gone down significantly, probably by at least anywhere from 50 to 75% of what is normal.
The federal government has pledged to spend $9 billion on defense by next spring. That's in part to appease Trump, who has long slammed Canada and other allies for not hitting NATO targets. Jan and other local business figures see an opportunity there.
What we're advocating for here is when and if we do make that defense spending happen at the national level, that there is a guaranteed percentage of Canadian-made product that goes into that.
Jan and Donnelly say Windsor, Essex is uniquely positioned to pounce on the opportunity.
We have everything from great people who can fabricate, who can machine, who can engineer, who can troubleshoot. All these same skill sets lend themselves to both energy and defense. And I think we're optimally set up here in Essex County to take on those challenges immediately.
There are big hurdles, though. Jan says they need time-consuming certifications and connections to players in the defense industry. Most of all, they need money to survive the transition.
To nutshell it, everybody is looking in that direction. We are reaching out to different defense contractors and energy contractors, and we're trying to make headway in that space, but it takes a long time.
The federal government is looking to help. On Tuesday, it announced $450 million to help Canadian businesses affected by tariffs, $160 million of which is for Southern Ontario. One cabinet minister says they're also looking into a concierge-like service for businesses looking to pierce the defense world.
This is an opportunity for our advanced manufacturers in the Windsor and the surrounding regions to expand, not pivot. They're still going to do what they do really well, but expand their role and actually have access to defense industry so they can do what we call dual use, produce for civilian uses, auto parts, but also for defense purposes.
Jan says the government initiatives will definitely make a difference. Still, he doesn't think some local businesses will survive. Emma Loop, CBC News, Windsor.
More students will have access to mental health supports across the Catholic School Board this year. It's in response to the growing psychological distress young people are experiencing. CBC's Jacob Barker has more.
It began as a pilot project here at F.J. Brennan Catholic High School at the end of last school year. It's a program that puts social workers and registered practical nurses in the school. Based on its success, it's now being expanded into 3 schools total in the Catholic School Board starting this September.
It could be violence in the home, it could be issues concerning our community, it can be, I just think kids are seeing so much more and now worrying about a lot more.
Social worker Julia Valeriani already has experience working on what they are calling the mobile health clinic at Brennan. She will now be helping students at Assumption College and Cardinal Carter High Schools as well on different days of the week between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. She says being able to meet with them in schools makes it easier to meet with students who need help.
We can offer that little bit of support and bring them into an environment that they're already comfortable with instead of kind of sending them out to another mental health agency.
Nicole Sabraka heads up the Canadian Mental Health Association in Windsor, Essex. She says there was a call to action to create something like this after hearing from frontline workers, and statistics gathered provincially showed what 10,000 students in grade 7s to 12 were experiencing. The numbers include local students.
What they found was half of those students reported experiencing a significant level of psychological distress, and that figure has doubled in the past decade. Additionally, and arguably even more concerning, is 19% of those students reported engaging in self-harm, and 18% of those students had suicidal ideation.
It's a program the principal here at Brennan says helps teachers and staff who might not be equipped to deal with some of the issues students are facing.
But for a lot of us, that's out of our realm of what we know how to do and what we're trained to do. So what this does for us, we can still be the trusted adult, but now we're a trusted adult that can bridge to a service in the school that's what they do. This is, their profession. So that it is super helpful for educators and for administrators in that regard.
The project has funding for 2 more years. According to Spraka, that gives them time to gather evidence needed to secure permanent funding, something she says is critical for the community. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Windsor.
Colette Kennedy joins us now for our first look at weather. Colette, how's it looking out there?
Well, a pretty pleasant day, okay? Temperatures maybe a few degrees below seasonal, but still some nice conditions. It's just a little cooler if you travel northward. Moosonee at 9, Sudbury only 14, and you see the coloration here in the west. That's where all the warmth is, where the temperatures are above seasonal. And then we're going to add to this a reinforcing front that's going to be coming through, reinforcing the cold air, also bringing in some wet weather, a chance for some embedded thunderstorms. So 13 overnight tonight, 21 degrees for tomorrow, a little bit breezy. When I come back, Katarina, we're going to play Wheel of Forecast, and those at home can play along too.
Wheel of Forecast, awesome. Thank you so much, Colette.
You're welcome.
Back to news now. A Windsor police officer who was harassed by a colleague after their breakup has now filed a complaint with the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario for mistreatment in the workplace. Carrie Zakor is seeking $3.8 million in damages, plus compensation for lost wages, medical expenses, and a formal apology. After the police constable's relationship with a more senior officer ended in 2020, she faced harassment from him, which led to him pleading guilty to criminal harassment in 2022, and he's no longer with the service. However, all the while, she claims that she was subject to name-calling, having private information circulated, and workplace isolation. Another major incident was when she was seriously injured in 2021 during the arrest of a much larger accused and had no backup on the call. It resulted in damaged vertebrae Zakor has had at least 8 procedures since then, her complaint says. The complaint alleges that she was pressured to return to work sooner than doctors advised, and her requests for accommodation were refused. Windsor Police declined to comment because the matter is currently before the tribunal. In national news, this year's wildfire season in Canada is the second worst on record. Communities have been evacuated and resources have been stretched thin. The CBC's Julia Wong looks into the potential value and challenges of recruiting more volunteer firefighters.
Well, we're nothing if not resilient.
When wildfires tore through Alberta in 2023, Sean Guernsey jumped in to protect the family property.
Trying to fight it with whatever we had, whether dirt, a couple skid steers, pails, 5-gallon pails. All of this stuff was brown.
The property was saved, thanks in part to a contingent of relatives and neighbors who stepped up.
It was a 24-hour period before we saw official firefighters.
As Canada battles another brutal wildfire season, taxing resources once again, should other firefighting models be explored? In the state of Victoria in Australia, a volunteer fire service responds to bushfires. Volunteers get nationally recognized training.
You operate exactly like any other fire service would operate. The only difference is the people that are in the truck responding to the incidents are not paid. They're not remunerated.
Here in Canada, in provinces such as Alberta, anyone can sign up to be a wildfire reservist. Those reservists help out in firefighter camps or with hotspots. They get a day and a half of training and undergo a fitness test. They're paid during that training and if they're deployed.
They want to be involved and help where they can. And of course, we want to make sure that that opportunity is available for them.
Critics say Alberta's program puts people at risk, and a day and a half of training isn't enough.
They won't recognize the dangers. Being able to understand fire behavior, understanding actions and reactions.
Guernsey agrees the work is dangerous, but he still plans to sign up next wildfire season.
Hopefully people can be wise, but you should be allowed the decision whether or not you fight for your place, for your neighbors, for your livelihood.
Alberta's reservist program started in 2024. About 80 people signed up this year, fewer than last year. The province's forestry minister says the program will continue. adding there's no jurisdiction in the world with enough personnel to fight wildfires. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
There's a new caffeinated product on the market. It's a small tea bag-like pouch that delivers a quick caffeine hit when placed between the lip and the gum. With the product growing in popularity among teens, health experts are concerned. Allison Northcott has more.
They work really fast because it's straight to your saliva.
Promoted by influencers.
I just had to look up a video on it, but you're actually supposed to put them in your upper lip like this.
And athletes.
Pack a punch.
Caffeine pouches are these little packets of caffeine that are placed under the lip.
Or in class, struggling to stay awake. Same, that's why I use Grind's caffeine pouches.
Each pouch can contain between 25 and more than 200 milligrams of caffeine. Compare that to a small coffee, which has about 100 milligrams, or a can of cola with about 35 to 45.
This is one of the packages. You've seen these before?
I have. So we can see one of the pouches. They're small.
They may be small, but this researcher says they could still cause serious harm in young people if they're overused or mixed with other caffeine sources.
The body that's naive to caffeine or smaller may actually respond very strongly to that, with some risks as severe as heart complications, heart arrest, or even overdose.
With coffee, chocolate, and energy drinks, there are a lot of caffeinated options on the market. Some here are intrigued by this latest one.
It's kind of cool. Honestly, it's kind of cool.
If there's not time to have a coffee, it's like a good way to have that caffeinated feel.
But this sleep medicine specialist says young people especially should be careful.
It's best that young people actually not use these caffeine pouches. If you have to take a stimulant to keep yourself awake at school or work, then it begs the question, do you have a sleep problem at night that's causing you to feel so fatigued?
The companies we spoke with say their pouches aren't meant for or marketed to kids, and say their products are an alternative to nicotine pouches or energy drinks. Still, some say the products need more scrutiny.
There is a need for education around these products and appropriate health warnings, which aren't always there.
Health Canada told us the department is investigating several cases to see if some of these products are breaking federal rules. Allison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
And back to local news, a beloved Windsor tradition is returning next month, and our Mike Evans went out to get all the details of what's in store for Open Streets 2025.
Well, we're excited that Open Streets is coming back. It's September the 21st from 10 till 2. Last year we did the East End edition. This year we're going back to the normal route, which is Sandwichtown to Ford City. Many stops in between with all the BIAs participating. We know in order to keep Open Streets fresh, we have to move the routes and give people a different experience. And we had done the old route a number of years consecutively. Now we said, let's try something on the East End. People liked it. Now we're going to go back and share the wealth, because people love coming out for Open Streets. They help support the businesses in those areas, and the idea is to keep moving it each and every year to give a fresh experience to those who are participating.
We've been the presenting sponsor for a number of years, and again, this is what community is all about. And whether it's Brock to Ford City, our students, our alumni, our staff are all over this town. And we always look for opportunities like this. We have students that are part of it. Our brigades will be here. We have setting up tables. But it's just so fun to be at the ground level with community, and they walk, they bike, they talk.
My wife and I and my family like to travel, and when we do, we often go to a pedestrian mall and walk on that pedestrian mall. So Windsor is now having that attraction where people can walk freely on the streets and enjoy the city and the dynamic and the beauty and culture. But best of all, you see other people. You see your friends, your neighbors, you make friends. It's something that brings the community together. It's something that we cherish.
I love Open Streets. It's always a good time. Let's take a live look outside. There's some nice comfortable temperatures today in the low 20s. I'm enjoying that as well. Some possible showers ahead for tomorrow though, and Colette Kennedy will of course talk us through all of that later on in the program. But first, when we come back, we will have your top international stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Israeli officials are in Washington to discuss the war in Gaza. No details have emerged so far. All while in Gaza itself, the violence continues and the death toll mounts, with local health officials reporting more Palestinians dead and wounded. Journalist Blake Sifton has the latest.
The Israeli military is intensifying operations on the outskirts of Gaza City, as well as the nearby city of Jabalia. That's all coming ahead of the offensive to seize and occupy all of Gaza City. There's been heavy airstrikes and widespread shelling by both tanks and artillery. And the United Nations says some 8,000 civilians have fled those affected areas to other neighborhoods in the west of Gaza City. The Israeli military spokesperson said that the evacuation of the civilian population of Gaza City was inevitable. He urged people to flee south to open areas in southern Gaza near the area around El Mawasi. Of course, Gaza City is home to some 1 million Palestinian civilians, and aid organizations have said that the starvation crisis already underway there could become much, much worse if this offensive goes ahead. The Israeli military have said that they will set up aid distribution sites as well as water infrastructure and tents to accommodate those displaced from Gaza City. Now, meanwhile, yesterday, Tuesday, the Israeli Security Cabinet met, and they reportedly did not discuss the ceasefire proposal that mediators have put forth and that Hamas agreed to last week. That ceasefire proposal would see the release of roughly half of the Israeli hostages held in captivity in Gaza. The Israeli government has not responded to that proposal, and they've insisted repeatedly that they will only accept a deal now for the release of all of the hostages, and they will only stop the fighting if Hamas effectively surrenders. Yesterday, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said that the Trump administration supports that position. So the Israeli government does seem intent on pushing forward with this operation, this offensive, to seize and occupy Gaza City. Blake Sifton for CBC News, Tel Aviv.
In the United States, a shooter opened fire at a Catholic school in Minneapolis on Wednesday. 2 young children were killed and 17 other people were injured. The attack took place during morning mass. The city's mayor has expressed outrage.
Don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
Authorities say the shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol, and later died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The dead children were just 8 and 10 years old, and all but 3 of those injured are children. Some of them are in critical condition. All of the injured victims are expected to survive, and an investigation is underway. And of course, the survivors of the school shooting are reeling. That includes one little boy who credits a friend with saving his life when shots were fired through a stained glass window.
It was like right beside me. I was like 2 seats away from the stained glass windows. So they were like, the shots were like right next to me. The first one, I was like, what is that? I thought it was just something. Then when I heard it again, I just ran under the pew. And then I covered my head. My friend Victor like saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit. He's really brave, and I hope he's good in the hospital.
In other news, Denmark has summoned the top U.S. diplomat in that country following a report that Americans have been running covert operations in Greenland. According to Danish media reports, the Americans' goal is to encourage people on the island to back secession from Denmark to the United States. Danish intelligence officials say Greenland has been targeted by, quote, influence campaigns. Denmark's foreign minister says any attempt to interfere with the country's internal affairs would be unacceptable. U.S. President Donald Trump has said in the past that he would like to annex Greenland, which is a semi-autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. And we will be right back with Colette Kennedy after the break, of course. And just remember, for news anytime, you can always go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. We will be right back with you. We are back with Colette Kennedy now, and she promised us a game. So let's start there.
Can play along at home as well.
Okay.
Yeah, the question is something you can do tonight. Now, not everyone can, or some people won't need to, but that's what we're going with. So we could start off, if you can't buy a vowel yet, but if you've got another letter for me.
Let's throw out the letter R.
Okay. And play along at home here. So let's see what we get through with the letter R's on the board for those. Okay, that was a good choice.
Okay. How about an N?
Okay. Oh, we've got a few N's. 3 N's. Folks at home, what do you think it is? Do you know?
Turn off your air conditioner.
I don't have a prize for you, Katerina, but that was very good.
It's just the joy of getting it right.
Yeah. If you got this at home, okay, maybe if you didn't, well, maybe you've already turned off your air conditioner or you don't have one, and I do appreciate that and understand that. The point I'm trying to make here is we've got a reinforcing cold front that's going to be coming through tomorrow, and maybe the nights are getting a little bit cool there. I like to have very chilly temperatures just for sleeping. So it's something that I just need to remind myself of. Okay, looking at what's going on there with your temperatures right now, 22 degrees. We've got 20 for Chatham-Kent. A little bit of what is very fair weather cloud that's moving in ahead of this front, but there are some juicier conditions towards the north in the upper Great Lakes where they're looking at some more significant rainfall, and that's the front that's going to be kind of sinking southwards, kind of coming south and sliding east. And so we get this glancing blow coming through the region, bringing in some heavier rains up towards Georgian Bay, certainly, and it's more just going to pull through here as we move through the day tomorrow. Probably early morning is still dry, and then rain develops. Could be a few embedded thunderstorms or even on the backside as we get back into some sunshine, and some of that energy could enhance a few pop-ups of even a few thunderstorms in here. So don't be surprised if that occurs, but then behind this is that cooler air that comes in. It doesn't last for long, and it's more so that it gives us those kind of chillier nights. Then we get into some sunshine, which will be very nice to have. Rainfall amounts about 5 to 10 millimeters. After the low tonight will be around 11. That was a snapshot at 6 a.m. And then rolling through the period, would you look at that Labor Day weekend? Pretty nice, Katerina.
It looks really good. Thank you so much, Colette, and thanks to you all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.